Going 10 to...
Here we are. Over to you.
Okay, so hello everybody. So my name's Becky and I'm the founder of the charity Spark Community Space, and most of you, or at least some of you, have heard about that. So how did Spark come about? Well, it's my story. So imagine your world right now and how you function, how your thought processes are working very well. And so 8.5 years ago now, I was the same as you. And then after 7 years of being misdiagnosed beforehand, I was taken into hospital and I lost my sight a little bit. And the specialist gave me a lumbar puncture straight away because he knew me by this time. And he said to me, your reading on your lumbar puncture should be 17, and mine was 42. They realized straight away that I was misdiagnosed. So I had 11 lumbar punctures in a very short space of a few months. And in the end, I went in thinking I was going to get really good news on the Thursday. And the consultant was sat there with 3 other consultants. And that's when you start to think, maybe it's not good news. And on the Saturday morning, I was rushed in for emergency brain surgery and my life changed. I never went back to work again. And I don't know about you, but that would change your world. It changed mine. I was never a lady that lunched. I never had friends that I went for coffee with. I was a career woman and a busy mum. And so you have lots of friends that are acquaintances. But when your world changes overnight, suddenly you don't get calls. You don't get the mums at the school because you're now not at the school. And your world becomes very small, very fast. And you're at home all the time because you can't lift your head off the pillow. So when I woke up from the operation, it was just a simple shunt fitted, and I was meant to wake up normally. Well, I woke up with half a head shaved, no hair one side, and I wasn't the same. So for me, my brain, as the doctors now tell me, it's like my brain went on holiday and my body is still in the UK, and they have to find each other again. And my brain now is different to some. It's a little bit slow when I'm tired. And people that really know me know that I have seizures still. But I realized I'm still a person. There's still Becky inside. But the Becky that everyone saw was different. You see, I wasn't needed as a career woman anymore. Sorry if I get emotional. And I wasn't a very good mum. Sorry, it's always a bit real, that bit. But I was still me fighting to get out. But I couldn't go outside my house on my own because I couldn't walk far. I couldn't drive anymore. And also I became a pain because, well, Becky can't do much. So what can Becky do? But I had this really good friend. And after a year, he said to me, Becky, you've got to come and volunteer at my charity. And I said, I'm quite happy at home. See, I'm safe at home. And at this point, I wasn't having seizures. So I got my driving license back. But I wasn't having seizures at this point. And so I went and I volunteered after a lot of duress. And suddenly the spark went on in my eyes. And within an hour, I was their top selling person ever. You see, there's still that Becky inside of me, but somebody had to see it. And the light started to go on and I started to feel confident of going outside the house. I still never went anywhere on my own, but I would go to where I volunteered. And I knew I was so good because there was still that Becky inside. But over another year going on, I had an emotional trauma that now left me with seizures. And I could see that they were getting quite anxious because now I was their responsibility. If I was to have a seizure on the shop floor, I was their responsibility. And I could see that things were changing. And I left because we moved house. We moved to Portsmouth so that I could get around again because I now lost my license again. And we moved into the Portsmouth so that I didn't feel my age, that I could still be independent. And that's how I found a new group of friends. And I started to realize that there was the Becky in me that was still beautiful and I was still okay. But when you don't have a purpose, and you don't have anything to wake up to, your world gets very small. Well, over time, I nurtured this idea that where I volunteered, that it could work for people that could go to somewhere where they weren't defined by their diagnosis. So the story of Spark started. I started this amazing project, and during lockdown, it was so successful, somebody took it away from me. And when you're vulnerable and someone takes away your joy of this thing that you created, this beautiful space that you created because they wanted to have their identity, I just had to walk away to save my head. And then my friend said to me, why don't you start your own charity where no one can take it away from you, where you can design it the way that you want it to be designed, so that you wanted it to be a place for all, where anybody that feels awkward can fit. And that's how Spark started. So it started on a journey of absolute rawness, of absolute desperation. And I wanted to see how somebody saw me, that I was worth having a sparkle again. And I am so built with passion that when people come into my space, that they realize their worth. They realize they have a purpose because someone saw that in me. And so that's the journey of Spark. And so when you come into the space, you will think it's completely bonkers, but it's a bonkers of beauty because it's built on absolute heartache and rawness. And I don't share that story many times with people because it takes me back to a place of that desperation. And sometimes I forget the beauty of how it started. So thank you for letting me share the story of Spark and how it really started. It started because someone saw that I needed that spark to go back on in my soul. And that's why I'm very passionate that Spark stays a pay what you can afford so that it excludes nobody. It's a place where no one is defined by what they can't do. They're defined by the beauty of what they can do. You know, yesterday we had just the most, Sandy came down yesterday, and we had the most beautiful two stories that were just, in fact, we had three, but I'll share just a few quickly ones. Yesterday, Sally, this lady that came in 4 weeks ago on a walker, she's a young lady, she had a stroke, and she came in with desperation. She was holding on to that walker for dear life. Over the last few weeks, she's become lighter and lighter, where she realized is that she has value. She has more value. She has purpose. Yesterday, she walked in without the walker. And the first thing she said to me was, Becky, look. And I said, I can see, but I wasn't going to tell you I could see. I saw her walk in with absolute confidence of who she was as a person. She said, I'm not walking with the walker. And her head was lifted up. That's just one story. Vincent, he's a 37 years, and these people have given me the okay to share their stories. And then Vincent, 37 years, a psychiatric nurse. He was helping people that now he needs the help. He came in 3 weeks ago, completely like this. And actually, I grabbed him off the street. I'll be honest with you. I saw this guy walk past with just so like the world on his shoulder. And I said, will you come in and have a coffee with me? And he looked at me and he said, yes. And he came in, sat down, and he just cried the whole session. And he's been with us every day we've been open since. So that's 4 weeks now. And yesterday he said to me, you saved my life. You pulled me in. I didn't have the strength to come in. And he said, and his story, it's going to go out on social media and stuff. So I'll let you read it. And it's just so rich, but that's because I just want to see people with their eyes sparkling. It's as simple as that. You know, imagine, it's just beautiful. And Sandy, wow, you were there yesterday. And Helen, she gives us a caregiver to support us, because trust me, the space is heaving with people of story after story. And yesterday, we ran out of the toasty stuff that normally lasts us 2 days. Well, Sandy, you can explain a bit, because I, to be honest, I'm completely exhausted.
Yesterday was manic. Sparks was absolutely full. It's held, for anyone that doesn't know by now, it's held in Sherlock's Bar, and it was rammed full the whole time we were open. And the stories in there, I sat with a couple of ladies at one point that had travelled down from Drayton and Cosham on the bus, 80 odd years old, both of them, to come to Sparks because that's their happy place to come every week. And there are stories all around the room like that. The difference that this lady, I feel quite emotional talking about her, because the difference she's made to so many lives is unbelievable. And you've got to go in there to witness what's going on. It's brilliant. Look, you made me cry now, you idiot. And Helen as well. I've got to give a shout out to Helen down the bottom there, because she runs Homestead. And as Becky said, every week she finances one of her carers to come down there to run a table for people that just need that extra bit of support to be with them from the time they walk through the door. We've got lots of volunteers down there that do just that. And I have to say, until I first went in there, I didn't really understand what Becky was trying to do. I just kind of thought it was
a bit complicated.
Well, I kind of got it was a coffee and drop in. And when she first started, I said, oh, if you need someone to help make coffee, I'll come down and help. She said, yes, please. And I kind of went and I did that. But the first time I was there, I didn't really, it was nice. It was just like a coffee social drop-in as far as I could see. But as I continued going down there volunteering, then we started to see the magic happening. And these people, like Becky said, that come through the door like a wilted flower, and gradually as you just water them with teas and cake, you see them flourish and get back their identity. And it's just the most rewarding thing to see. It's just, well, I can't praise Becky enough. She is absolutely inspirational. So
exhausted. I've just got this one. Sandy's just reminded me. I'll just be one more minute and then I'll shut. I would say there's something up, but we're on record. But this is the volunteers, because I'm always about the volunteers. And this is a message that I got from a volunteer last night, and she we praised her yesterday because Penny brought down that amazing book, and Bev is in the book, and it went round the room. And I was wanting to celebrate Bev yesterday because she's my unsung hero and she's a volunteer. And I say to people, I stopped the whole room and I said, when this book's going round and it's been printed with love, and I said, just read Bev's story. I said, you see her just as a volunteer sat in the room. I said, but now this story will explain her beauty, and this story will explain what she does in the community. And I want you to realise that everybody in this room has a story. Just will you listen to theirs? And so Bev yesterday got really praised. And this is what Bev wrote to me about what was happening on her table. She said, people that sat with us today, a lady got really emotional when she said to me, I'm sorry, darling, but I've got dementia. She started crying. This really touched my soul. One of the many reasons why Sparks work. When this lady left, the carer looked at me, thanked me, and she said, we have never been felt more welcome anywhere, because she's not normal, but that's all she craves. And I was like, that's just it. And so that's why Sage House works. That's why Sparks work, because we're giving people the dignity of their diagnosis, that they're that person first. And that's a challenge that we meet as a team every day before we open, as a team of volunteers. And I just say to people, because sometimes the volunteers, we all get our little niggles, and I just always ground them and I say, this is why we open this story. And I read them a story of what happened maybe the day before. And let's not concentrate on the person that's maybe abused us today by not leaving a donation, and they can, or because you get those little niggles. I say, let's keep ourselves centered. This is why we open, and may we never forget that's why we open. And so yes, we do need ambassadors, so people that want to support the charity, because it's growing at a rate that it's just going so fast that, if I told you we spent nearly £50 in just toasties and cheese and ham, it's bonkers how quick this is going. And so yeah, we've also found, like Sandy was saying, people are traveling in now. The doctor's surgeries are picking up on the fact that they can send people to us to save their money, but they're forgetting that we're not funded, you know. So but it's why we've opened. So yeah, so thank you for letting me waffle on.
And can I just mention that the Spark have got a fundraising ball on the 10th of June. So if you could buy a ticket and come along and support us, that would be brilliant. All the money is going to Spark, and it's being put on by Kurdos International for us, because they were so blown away by what Spark did for one of their relatives. So they wanted to do something to help us. Also, there is a donation button on the Spark page, I believe, where if you want to just sponsor a cake for the following week, you can go on there and donate and sponsor a cake, and you'll get a shout out on social media for sponsoring us. So I just
and sign up for our brand new newsletter, because the news that we got, I don't even know how that bit's happened. I did it as a joke, and we got now a newsletter. We got to subscribe. Anyway, shut up, Becky. Go. I could talk
Please,
about.
can you put the link in the chat, Sandy, for sponsoring or donating? Because I've been trying to get down there, but time runs away with me. So I'd love to donate.
I'll have a look and see if I can find
it. I love the way Kathy, you asked her, not me, because you knew that one never going to happen.
I'll try and find it before the end. If
I did send you a message, Becky, just now.
She'll add it on the email for us.
Oh yeah, you just. Yeah. I don't even understand the messaging thing. I'm just thinking, oh yeah, that's. Oh,
see, I did send you a message.
I'm now reading the messages. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
Me and Diana put tickets to the ball, so we're really excited for that. Can't wait.
Do you know what? This is really bad. I got my dress yesterday, didn't we, Sandy?
We did. She looks beautiful in it. Stunning.
I tried on one, and I went, that'd do.
Wasn't even that'll do. It was just the right dress on it. It just looks stunning.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Becky, I wish we were in a room together, so as I could hug you.
Me too.
I think you probably brought a tear to most people's eyes. I'm a softie anyway, but it's just amazing. You're incredible.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, do you know what? This guy, Vincent, yesterday, the psychiatric nurse, he said to me, I was married to my job. And he said, I became everybody's help. But when I needed help, he said, no one was there. He said, because I don't have family. And I just looked at him and I said to him, Vincent, you're just so precious. And he said to me, thank you. He said, I feel like I'm vanishing. And that just was like, whoa.
Mm.
You know, so when you feel like you're vanishing, you just think, you know, you just gotta, may we just keep smiling at people and just go, good morning. Isn't that a start?
Yeah, it doesn't take much.
No.
At all. Thank you, Becky, for sharing that.
Oh,
seriously.
I've got to go and do a spark now. I'm getting a taxi. I'm not walking. Oh, you gotta laugh, at you. But thanks for everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Well done, Becky. You did brilliantly.
So, people, if you can support Becky in any way, just and even sort of go down there. Don't forget to donate that for your cake and tea.
Yeah. Because I'm not. Yeah, because I know that's the podcast in me.
It's quite vicious. It's a lovely space. Becky, well done. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. Who'd like to go after that?
Actually, I will, if that's all right. Sorry, Lisa, because I just want to add to it. And bless her, Becky alluded to what we do, but I've got to say, you know, my lovely caregiver Maggie goes in every week. And yes, a whole host of reasons why that works for me, but actually why that works for Becky, why that works for Maggie. Recognizing in people what they need has been transformational. And I don't think Becky really quite realized. She messages, there's a little group of us that we kind of have, and she'll ping in things and we're kind of all, well, how do you not see this, Becky? Because she's like, well, this happened today. And you're like, And you know, we've come to expect this from her. But I'm going to talk about Maggie. Maggie is lost, I think, is about the best word I can describe. She came to me as a caregiver, and I recognised, and I hoped I recognised within her, a need for somebody who was really vulnerable. And across the course of the week now, not only have we managed to redefine her hours and her working week, she now brings one of her clients who also has alcohol-related issues to Spark, who now comes on his own as well when she's not there. And actually the whole symbiosis of what we do. So Maggie works with me in the office. She's got 3 of our clients. She comes into Spark. And in fact, just to kind of say, Becky, whilst you and I are, Gemma's coming down today as well. So you're going to get to meet Gemma. So another one of my caregivers is coming in to be there. And that's just beautiful because they're all wanting to be part of this. And having something that works, having something that makes people feel whole is absolutely core to who Becky is, but to who Sandy is, to who we are as an organization, and to me personally. And it just, if actually, Penny, if step out to one side, if you can shuffle your head over, I don't know which way you're sat, but the photo behind, there's a load of us in that photo, and actually Lincoln's there, and it's just, we're all there this is who Becky is, to support that. And Penny took that beautiful photo, so she's part of that photograph too, because this is really about the people in our area and how we can make it better for them. And she's right, people with dementia, people who are transgender, people who are lost and lonely, come in and they find themselves. Becky, you're just a star. Well done, my love.